do this.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Big Dog Podcast. A little bit of changes this week. Chris and Dylan unable to join due to Hurricane Milton, who's currently going towards our hometown. Of course, I'm not there, and his hometown. So we have Jake and Lauren joining us today.
Oh yeah,
Guys, how we doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Hey, I just took a nap.
It's a pleasure being on here with you, Nick.
yeah. I'm happy to have you guys. Happy to have you guys. FYI, Lauren knows nothing about football, so
That's incorrect.
well, not nothing, but
What do you know?
yeah. What do you know about football?
Besides the colors.
Some teams have better mascots.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Works.
All right.
That works.
Um, let's get right into it. So, in college football this week, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. If you hadn't heard, um,
I actually knew about that one. Thank
I
you
knew
very
about that
much.
one.
yeah. A week after beating Georgia, you lose to Vanderbilt.
It's not the best look.
No, I really don't understand how that happens.
I think they just went into the game expecting for it to be a blowout, not a challenge, and so they kind of let their guard down.
So did the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Murray, 310 yards, touchdown. It was 40-35, so it's not like they couldn't score. The defense couldn't stop Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia, balled out for Vanderbilt. 252 yards, 2 touchdowns. Eli Stowers, the receiver, 113 yards for him. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, how does Bama lose to Vanderbilt?
I was gripping my mouth.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. And it's also a bad look for Georgia too, because you go and lose to a team, and then they lose to Vanderbilt, who has been the worst team in the SEC for as long as I can remember.
Well, Georgia put up a fight.
They did. Well, Georgia's down a lot in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Came back. Still lost the game.
They lost still.
Right.
But they came back.
So in the rankings now,
yes,
Georgia is ahead of Bama.
Really? How does that work?
That's what I'm saying. We will have BDN's rankings coming up. But yeah, I don't understand how you lose to a team, but yet you're higher than them. And like that. Like, obviously, Bama's still higher than Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt has like 2 losses.
I think it's because in that week, Bama lost and Georgia won.
They got cocky. They got cocky.
Yeah.
It's bad. Bad all around for Bama. And it doesn't get any easier. 2 turnovers in that game from Jalen Morrow, fumble and a pick. It doesn't get any easier. They go to South Carolina. No, play South Carolina this week. Not an easy game, especially after you lose to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
South Carolina, a good team. Put up a fight versus LSU 3 weeks back. And then they play at Tennessee versus Missouri and at LSU. Tennessee and LSU, 2 tougher places to play in college football. Any road game is tough in college football, but especially when you are playing a ranked team.
Yeah.
On the road. So we'll see if they bounce back. They should win this week, but then next weekend we'll see versus Tennessee. So,
yeah. It'll be a good game to watch.
Speaking
of good games to watch, Ohio State versus Oregon.
Yes.
That's going to be a good game.
It is. We will talk about that coming up. We will have picks for that coming up. Speaking of Tennessee, they were also upset this week by Arkansas. A lot of upsets this week. It was a good week for college football for upsets.
Wasn't it like 4 ranked teams lost to unranked teams this week?
Bama, Tennessee, Michigan, and yeah, there were a couple.
Yeah.
Uh,
Big week of upsets.
Yeah, and going into the week, no, it wasn't like a big week. It wasn't a lot of good games. It ended up being a really good week because of those upsets.
Yeah.
Nico Hamaleva, one of the Heisman frontrunners coming into the week, did not play very well. Only 158 yards, no touchdowns. Dylan Sampson, the really good running back for Tennessee, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really carried them and kept them in that game. Did you see the end of that game in the last play?
No, I did not.
So basically, the last play was like 2 seconds left in the game, and you would think they had like the 25-yard line, 20. So you would think they would take a shot to the end zone, right?
Yeah.
No, Nico Lamaleva decides his quarterback decides to keep it and run out of bounds 5 yards out of the field, and they lose the game.
That sounds so stupid.
Yeah, not really sure what the thought process was there.
Maybe he was it like a designed run?
No, like it was a pass play. He dropped back, didn't see anybody open, decided to run. At that point, I think you're better off just chucking it in the end zone, hoping
Yeah.
for the best.
There's no point in running out of bounds. At least fight for something.
I could do better.
Honestly,
I like that. Uh,
I like that a lot.
Taylor Green for Arkansas, 266 yards. They had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jackson and Singleton each had one. And again, it's not like they again put up a lot of points. Their defense kept them in Tennessee. You know, a defensive battle. Tennessee struggled, and in the SEC especially.
Yeah.
You struggle. There's teams that can beat you, like we
The
saw
smallest
Vanderbilt.
mistakes can make or break your game.
Yeah. Move to the Big Ten now. Washington beat Michigan. Love that. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan.
At all.
They are now on their third quarterback this season, believe it or
Wow.
not. Yep. IO. Davis Warren, Alex Orji, and now Jack Tuttle taking snaps for Michigan. And
Clearly not good.
no. Obviously, they've also taxed it, which was expected. And I kept saying that if Michigan cannot pass the football, you're going to lose because this is actually a national championship rematch last year, Michigan Washington. In college football, you can't be that one side.
Yeah.
And
That
Donovan
variety.
and Donovan Edwards only 95 yards, Khalil Mullins only 49 yards, and a touchdown.
You have to have multiple ways to be able to ball down the field, or else you're not going to be able to at all.
Great to see you. I was actually at a sports bar watching it with some of my boys. We were there for the UFC that happened. Alex Pereira knocked out Cliff Round in the 4th round. Yeah, didn't know. And there was some Michigan fans like watching it. On the other side, like the wall over there. Well, it's the beat up the trend. You been there?
Yeah.
There's like that wall there. And so Washington scored. I was like, OH.
I'm sure they didn't like that.
Yeah. No. So yeah, Michigan, we knew they weren't going to be good. And honestly, I love to see it after the whole cheating scandal and everything. It warms my heart to see Michigan lose. Michigan and Bama losing in the same week. That brought me joy.
That brings joy.
There's a lot of joy to me. Will Rogers looked pretty good. He's having a good season running and passing the football. 271 yards, 2 touchdowns for Will Rogers in Washington. And shout out Washington. Getting their revenge from last year's national championship game. Obviously, their coach, Kalen DeBoer, now with Bama, he lost too. So, hey, they won. He lost. Who's better?
Yeah.
Definitely Bama.
Definitely Bama. Like boy.
Keeping in the Big Ten, USC loses to Minnesota. Really don't. I mean, no one thought Minnesota was going to beat USC. But hey, there were crazy things happened this weekend.
Clearly. A bunch of crazy things happened this weekend. Yeah. In the world of college football.
Yeah, Miller Moss, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Huh.
And I'm not really sure how Minnesota scored their points. I didn't watch a lot of this game. But Minnesota beat USC, and USC now has 2 losses on the year. Michigan and now Minnesota. So probably not going to be competing in the Big Ten race here anymore. I think Michigan is still ranked. USC not ranked. If being honest, Michigan should not be ranked. Little hint. They are not ranked in my poll. So
yeah.
But SMU beating Louisville. Louisville ranked 22 coming in. SMU only 1 loss on the season. Their past 3 wins versus TCU, Florida State, and Louisville. Florida State not good this year, but
yeah,
to go and beat Florida State, I still take some. I believe it was in Tallahassee.
Yeah. To go into Tallahassee.
The Louisville ranked team, one of the best teams in the ACC, and TCU in the playoffs 2 years ago. I like their coach. I like Coach Sonny over there. Kevin Jennings absolutely balled the fuck out. 281 yards, passing, 113 yards, rushing, and a touchdown. So shout out to him for SMU making a statement win and showing they might be able to compete in the ACC. Tyler Shaw, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick for Louisville. Isaac Brown, 117 yards on the ground, and Ja'Cory Brooks, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. So caught both touchdowns from Tyler. So it's not like Louisville played bad, just SMU was better, and they won the game. So I mean,
Get the job done.
you do, and SMU now. Let's respect their name. They could compete in the ACC with a Miami, with a Clemson.
You think so?
I mean, I think so. I mean, only lost is the 14 BYU, who is undefeated, and probably the front runner right now to win the Big 12. If I have to take a guess.
Huh.
Miami and Cal. You know anything about that game? Watch that, or not?
I did. I saw a little bit of the ending. I can't remember what I was doing this weekend, but I didn't get to watch that much college or NFL. I've watched a little bit of NFL.
Well, I know you're much more of an NFL guy than college.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know what I'm more.
it was a busy weekend for me. But I did see the ending. I don't remember how much they were down, but they ended up coming back.
35-18 going into the fourth.
Wow.
Scored 21 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Cam Ward keeps his Heisman season alive.
Yeah.
Or Heisman hopeful season alive.
He's one of the front runners now.
Yeah, he's been a front runner for a couple weeks now. I think it's him, Ashton Gentry's number one.
Ashton Gentry.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I think he had 198 rushing yards in the first half last week.
And then he got pulled out.
Yeah.
He's getting pulled out. In the
2
first
touchdowns. Carrying that Boise State team.
This week he had 3 touchdowns in the first half.
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
That's wild.
And he keeps getting pulled, and somehow he's still putting up big numbers.
Yeah, no one has an answer for him. I'm excited to see Boise State. I think as of right now, they are that group of 5 team that would get in.
I think they're
in that 12 seed or whatever seed. They're definitely a playoff caliber team. I'm excited to see them play some of the big dogs. Maybe like
I wonder how Ashton Gentry can do against the Big Ten or SEC.
Yeah, I want to see him play like a Penn State or an Alabama.
A really good defense.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do against like an Ohio State, Texas, Georgia. But first one of those like 4 to 10 teams. I'd like to see them play one of those teams.
And not one of maybe a top 5 team.
Obviously, Georgia ranked I think 5th, but I think
they're Boise State
top
ranked right now.
Yeah. I believe they are 17, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they're a good team.
Yeah,
really going to compete.
And I think they got 1 loss.
Yeah, to Oregon. It was close though.
Yeah, was it?
It was close. It was a good game.
What numbers did Ashton Gentry put up in that game?
Very similar numbers. So the Heisman right now, I would say Gentry, Travis Hunter, and then Cam.
Do you like Travis Hunter?
Jalen Miller was the favorite coming into this week.
But after that performance,
after you lose to Vanderbilt, you ain't winning the damn Heisman.
You're not winning the Heisman anymore. Yeah, I think you have to win hard games and then like absolutely destroy teams that aren't as good.
Not even destroy. You have to beat Vanderbilt. That's a game you have to win.
You have to beat. I mean, they kind of showed that they're a decent team and not to mess around with it. But like going into that game, Bama should have definitely won.
Agreed.
Especially after beating Georgia.
So 437 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception for Ward. He's thrown 1, I think, in most games. The only problem with him. Also had a rushing touchdown. Fernando Mendoza played really well, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Cal also ran all over that Miami defense. 4 running backs over 50 yards, 3 touchdowns combined. I was actually watching at the sports bar, and every time I looked up, I'm seeing Cal just running right through the Miami defense. And I kind of Miami out. I was like, oh, Miami's going to lose. I'm like, okay, maybe Clemson's the best team in the ACC.
And they got everything together in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I get back and I watch second half, and even the fourth quarter, even the third quarter was bad. Just the fourth quarter, something clicked for Miami, and so shout out to Miami getting it done, staying undefeated. So the end of the day, all you gotta do is win the game.
I don't want to keep circling back to Bama. We've been talking about them a lot,
Yeah.
but I was at the Mitchell versus River Ridge game when Bama was playing, and so they're like, "Wow, Bama's losing. They're down like 20, right? It was like 40 to 20 something."
Yeah.
And so they're like, "Oh my gosh, no way, Bama's about to lose to Vanderbilt." And then like 20 minutes later, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Bama's coming back." I'm just unfortunately they couldn't pull off what Miami did.
That's all right. I'm cool with Bama losing. I ain't sad about it.
Yeah, for them, it's
Right.
unfortunate.
And then maybe the most impressing win in the day, Texas A&M beating Missouri 41-10. A&M ranked 25 coming in. Missouri was like 9, I believe. I picked A&M to win, just being at home. I feel like Lauren just kind of chilling in the back,
He is.
I realized she's gonna.
Listening.
Well,
She's becoming educated.
I get to say that I finally watched the podcast.
You were part of the podcast. You
Yeah,
sat in the
you're
back
part
with your hand just.
You're part
I'm
of the
important stuff right now.
Dude, I'm thinking about that pizza we're ordering, but I ain't gonna lie.
what?
I'm thinking about the pizza
Pizza
we're
we're gonna
ordering.
order? It's gonna be a good pizza.
Hey, shout out Pizza Rica, Boca Raton.
Oh yeah.
Anybody watching in Boca, very good.
All right, you were saying?
Hey, it's my podcast. I can talk about what I want on my
We get
podcast.
sidetracked very easily. Let us talk what we're gonna talk about.
I can talk about what I want on
It is
my
this
Big Dog
podcast.
podcast.
Yes. It is
We
a
did.
podcast.
We actually talked about food last week too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we're guys. I'm a big boy. It happens. I picked A&M coming in. Connor Wigman was back for them this week after missing some time with injury. Passed for 276 yards. Most impressively, Le'Veon Moss, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had the one, I believe, like 70-yard touchdown, which hit my pick and my parlay. Probably didn't hit. Speaking of parlays, Underdog Fantasy, use code Nick236 for your first deposit match only on Underdog Fantasy. Amar Daniels, absolutely balled. Not absolutely balled, but 34 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Brady Cook did not look good for Missouri. 13-31, 186 yards and 1 touchdown. Luther Burden, 7 receptions, 82 yards receiving. But for Cook, it looks like he had missed a lot of easy throws that he should have made. He overthrew Burden a couple times. Had Burden in my parlays for a touchdown. He did not. Once again, Nick 236 on Underdog Fantasy. And he just didn't make the throws that you would have thought he would make. He'd been playing really well. Kind of came onto the scene, in my opinion, last season. Was it versus Georgia? I think they almost won. And then at least
Georgia
last season, yeah.
Wow.
And in my book, at least, when they beat Ohio State in the bowl game last year, we don't.
Yeah.
As an Ohio State fan, we don't count that game.
I wonder why.
Interesting.
Well, all right. So
You guys count every game.
McCord enters the portal, and then we're going with Devin Brown. Gets hurt in the first quarter. Just the rest of the game, Lincoln Kingholz comes in, and it was just kind of a shit show. We weren't prepared. I blame the coaches out a little bit for that game. And Kingholz came in, basically didn't play well. Didn't look prepared. It looked like we had put all of our time and effort into Devin Brown.
Yeah.
And so, not a knock on Ohio State though. This year, much different than Ohio State. Much better team than last season.
Okay.
What was that?
The game still happened though.
Yeah.
It did.
It's a good point.
It did, but
I think you have to count.
it's a bowl game. Didn't really matter or anything.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'll wait on top. Always and forever.
Speaking of this Ohio State team this year, I'm really liking Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah. Last week, did you watch the podcast last week? Did you get a chance to tune into the podcast? There was a segment. We're talking with Dylan and Chris. We were saying who's better, Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams?
Yeah.
Who do you think's better? Like if you're drafting a team and you can pick either Ryan Williams or Jeremiah Smith, who you got?
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Williams can create big plays. He can create them. And he pretty much catches almost every ball. Jeremiah Smith is more consistent, though, with his hands. He catches pretty much
I think he
every
had 2
ball.
more one-handed catches versus
Yeah.
Iowa this week.
2 more.
Yeah,
Insane catches.
just casually put those in
Just
there.
casually. Yeah. I think I would pick Jeremiah Smith. Mainly,
Yeah, both
they're both
hell of
very
good
good.
receiver. Both going to probably want to have really good NFL careers and college careers. It wouldn't shock me if both of them win a national championship. And Jeremiah Smith, I was looking during the research earlier today, could find his way to New York as a Heisman finalist this year if he keeps up what he's doing as a freshman. It's been a while since we've seen a freshman come onto the scene and have this much of an impact um, as he is for that Ohio State team. Aside from the quarterback position, of course, Dylan Raiola this year playing really well for Nebraska. But to have a receiver come in and just absolutely dominate, something I've never seen before for both of them, Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. So, but then usually we would do a team of the week. But I think you can pick any team. So which team were you more impressed with this week? Well, we just covered a bunch of them. I mean, we covered A&M, we covered SMU, we covered Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Washington, all pulling up upsets. I mean, which one was more impressive?
honestly, Vanderbilt. Only mainly because not only did they pull off the upset, but they also pulled off the upset to a very good Bama team.
Number one team in the country.
Yeah, the number 1 team in the country who just beat
Number one
Georgia.
team in the country.
Yeah,
Well, it might have been number 2, Texas.
no, Georgia was.
I think Georgia was 2.
Yeah. Either way, it was very impressive win for Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Lauren, what about you? What team out of those we just talked about were you impressed with? Or what stands out? What are your thoughts? Okay, Miami.
Always. Camp Ward. Very
Because
impressive.
you said we came back a lot. So
I like
Yeah.
that.
I like that.
I like that. Not picking the. Anybody want to get the door? Or-
Yeah, I'll go get the door.
It pissed me off.
Someone's calling.
No, actually, it's old. No, Lord, I like that.
Stafford. Here you go.
I'm good. I'm good. I already ate like half of them. Big fat ass.
Only nigga with a car.
Alex, get out. We're making a podcast. What up, Alex? On the Big Dog Pod. What up? Oh, that's funny. Okay.
What did you say?
Um,
All right.
So, Ben, back to what you're saying, Lauren. I like that. A lot of teams, a lot of upsets. Miami almost upset. But I like that you picked them as your team of the week for not giving up comeback. A lot of teams down.
They never gave up.
A lot of teams that were down 35-18 at the half.
Exactly.
Or at the third. Never what? You finish it off.
never give up.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that pick. We need more of that on the Big Dog Podcast.
See,
just-
should bring me back.
Just teams that you were impressed with, didn't give up, hard grit college football. I like that. For me, it's Texas A&M.
Explain.
Well, I think I mentioned earlier. I said they were. I thought they were going to win coming in, but to dominate the way they did versus a top 10 team in the country, I don't care what they're ranked. If it's a top 10 matchup, they're both within the top 10. You dominate a top 10 team like that, and that's impressive to me. And Le'Veon Moss is my player of the week with those 138 yards, 3 touchdowns. So it really is.
I mean, as a player of the week, it's always going to be easy to pick Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith, all the top people, but
shout out player of the week, Ashton Jeanty as well. We'll get that too.
yeah,
But he can win it every
he
week.
can win it every week, and so I think eventually you have to pick someone else.
Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah, someone else that just shine.
I agree.
Yeah.
So moving on to BDN top 25, Big Dog Nick top 25.
Mhm.
So obviously number one team lost last week, but in my rankings I saw Texas number one. And this week nothing changed. Number one Texas. Number 2 I got the Buckeyes.
No bias.
Really, you put Texas?
Correct. Out of Ohio State.
Texas is a very good team.
Texas, hell of a team, beat Michigan, which now looks a little worse now that they lost again.
Yeah.
At 3, I got Penn State. I know in the AP poll. And the 4 is Oregon. I switched them into me. To me, Penn State just looked a little bit more impressive. I think Drew Allar's playing a lot better than he did last season. And that Penn State team is no team to mess around with. Ohio State plays them in a few weeks coming up. And of course, Ohio State was Oregon this week. And in my opinion, the winner of that Ohio State Oregon game will be the new number one team in the country.
We're not even number 2, I think.
Number one. Because Texas is the best win to Michigan. You take Ohio State, Oregon, that's making your best win top four opponent.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Number 5, I got Miami, 6-0, undefeated. I obviously struggled, but still undefeated. 6 Bama, 7 Georgia.
Okay.
Again, in my opinion, Bama beat Georgia. They have to be ahead of them, in my opinion. I don't care if you lost to Vanderbilt. It looks really bad on both teams, which is why I put Miami ahead of them. 8 Tennessee, upset again by Arkansas, so they dropped. 9 LSU, 10 Clemson. Both one-loss teams who lost, week 1 of the season. That looked really sharp since.
Got their act together.
Yes, 11 BYU, 5-0 in the Big 12. 12 Ole Miss. Ole Miss, LSU do play this weekend. We'll have picks on that coming up. 13 Iowa State, 5-0 all again in the Big 12. So shout out to Iowa State. 14 A&M, big win over Missouri. 15 Notre Dame, 16 Utah, 17 Boise State, just manhandling their opponents. 18 Oklahoma, 18 Oklahoma, 19 Indiana, 6-0. 20 Pittsburgh, 21 Illinois. Shout out Miles Collar. 22 Kansas State, 23 Colorado, 24 SMU, and 25 Missouri. What stands out to you there? Or do you agree with anything? Anything shocked you? Or
no, nothing really shocked me.
Laura, anything to add there? Are you good? Yeah.
I
All right.
like those picks.
Honestly,
I think if Boise State was undefeated, having not lost to Oregon, they'd be a lot higher in the rankings.
Maybe Oregon. Arguably.
And honestly, arguably they could be put higher because they held their own against a top 5.
Well, and that's why that's part of the reason they're ranked higher too, because the teams they're beating are top 10, top 25 opponents.
Yeah,
but they're beating them convincingly, which to me matters. And you have a guy like Ashton Jensen, you're capable of winning any game you play.
Yeah.
So, a couple quick topics here, and college football, and then we'll topics and our picks. So we've seen over the past couple of weeks, a couple of players, a handful of players, in fact, at least in the ones that you see on social media from Bama, UNLV, their quarterback left midseason, offensive lineman for Bama left. They're redshirting midseason and entering the transfer pool. What are your thoughts on these players basically quitting on their team midseason, saying they're going to redshirt just so they can leave and go to a different team next season?
It's not the best look. I mean, it's obviously their choice. If they could leave for multiple reasons. Say if they're not on an athletic scholarship or like any scholarship, they can't afford it for some reason. They have to leave, go somewhere else, or they just don't like the school, the environment. They want to go somewhere else. But from looking at it as a football standpoint, it's just not a good look to leave your team in the middle of the season, especially if you're a key player.
Yeah. One former player yourself in high school.
Yeah.
How would you have a guy that's left out midseason, decided to go transfer to, golf or Hudson, even different school around?
That actually did happen to us.
Well,
I benefited from it, but
actually happened to us. One of our quarterbacks went to Hudson, but
but you have to change, not everything, but a good amount changes with the way you play because that player brings a certain level of skill or a certain amount of skills that you game plan on. And without those,
and then somebody I competed in high school, throughout my whole life, wrestled in high school, and we would have guys who would just quit mid-year, and it's kind of a bitch move because then it kind of makes you have to scramble to figure out who's going to replace him in the lineup.
Exactly.
And
especially
are they prepared enough?
The player on my team actually left the day before our game. So it was like a very last minute change.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on players just leaving, entering the portal because the one of them was about in college football now, you gotta worry about like NIL and transfer portal. And basically he was told he was gonna get this amount of money, didn't receive that amount of money, and so he left.
I feel like And anything, it sucks. Like if you just leave your team halfway through, like at least stick it out.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you get like hurt or something.
Yeah, medical
Or
red shirt.
at least wait till the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and the reason they leave before the season is that they can redshirt a year, meaning that it's not going to
Yeah.
count towards their eligibility. Everyone gets 4 years of eligibility, but you have guys who play 6 years having medical redshirt or redshirting because, like, if you're the third string quarterback, you redshirt. That's understandable because you're going to redshirt, save your eligibility for when these 2 guys graduate, then you play.
Yeah.
But no, college football needs to do. They need to get a handle on it in a way. Yeah, NIL transfer portal. I'm listening to the Triple Option podcast. If you don't listen to it, tune it in. It's a little better than ours. I'm going to be honest. It's got Rob Stone, Urban Meyer, Mark Ingram, notable guys, not just 3 stooges, but
Students.
students. Yeah. And they were talking about this too, and I agree with what Urban said. He said they got to do something. It's just like a free agency. It's just they can do whatever they want. And there's no contract for NIL. It's all verbally, I'll give you X amount of dollars to come play. So they need to have contracts, maybe even like a year contract system. Like for 2 years, you have to stay here. It's in a way.
If they're gonna keep on with this NIL making contracts.
College football is just changing because of it, and I like parts of it, but other parts of it I don't like. So you got to do something. Anything else?
I think you covered everything.
Awesome. Another quick news here. We'll get into some picks. Quinn Ewers is expected to be ready versus Oklahoma this week in the Red River rivalry.
Do you think they start him over Manning?
Yeah, 100%.
Even though Manning's been performing well,
I do because Quinn Ewers, experienced guy. Archie. Yeah, Archie's gonna have his time.
Yeah, he's a freshman.
Hell of a sophomore.
Sorry.
He's a redshirt freshman. He was there last season, so redshirt freshman.
That's on.
Technically, you were right. No, Quinn is the better quarterback as of right now, more experienced guy. Although I will be honest,
He just has experience.
I'm gonna spit one of my picks here. You guys can comment if you like, or wait till we make the picks. I think Texas wins either way, whether they start Archie or Quinn.
Who are they playing?
Oklahoma.
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
or it's not Archie. Arch. I think they win either way.
I think either QB can go and beat
That's-
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, good team. Not to discredit Oklahoma,
Yeah.
but just some struggles they have in their own quarterback room.
Texas.
I think but then again, we also said last year that they weren't going to win, and they, Oklahoma always. The game's always close. Same thing with Ohio State, Michigan. There's years where it's a rivalry or where it's a blowout, but a lot of times these rivalry games are close just because you hate the other team so much and you want to compete, and it just brings up the best in each team. Indiana, 6-0 for the first time since 1967.
Wow, that's a long time.
Shout out to Kurt Signetti, coach over. What is going on at the bottom of my desk? Sorry, guys. It's fine.
Fix it later.
Yeah. So shout out to Indiana playing really good football, and to me, they have some games, but there's a chance they go into an Ohio State game at I believe 10-0. That could be a big game in the Big Ten. And a good test for Ohio State. And then Shiloh Sanders, safety at Colorado, is set to return after arm surgery versus Kansas State this week. Really good game coming up in the Big 12. Kansas State and Colorado, 2 of the best teams. Picks on that very, very soon. Anything you guys want to add on the couple topics there?
Let's do this.
You really think they're gonna go 10-0?
Indiana? I mean, I think it's possible.
Who's on their schedule?
Yeah, we can pull up the schedule really quick. If I can get my phone in my pocket.
Unless they got like a top 10 team on their list.
I mean, I was looking at it earlier. They play Nebraska this week.
Hmm.
And maybe. Yeah, Nebraska. That's going to be a really good game. Nebraska, Indiana. We actually can pick that game if you guys want. Right now, who do you think wins? I'm going to take.
Who's Nebraska playing?
Nebraska's good. Nebraska's a good team. Hell of a team. I'm high on Nebraska. They lost to Illinois. They lost to Colorado. They've beaten Purdue, Northern Iowa, and UTEP.
Fair.
I'm taking Indiana in that game. I think Indiana wins that.
Yeah. I think it'll
Um,
be a very close game.
they do have a tougher schedule. They have a decent. They play Washington at home again though, but that's a winnable game for Indiana. They play Michigan State. That should be a win. They play Michigan at home. Could be a good game. And then they travel to Columbus to take on the Buckeyes.
I think.
I like they're not going to.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat Michigan.
Really.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Michigan's had their struggles this year.
Michigan has had
on their third quarterback, and they can't run.
Yeah.
We
But
talked about
I
that
think,
earlier.
I don't know. Michigan's had their fair share of struggles, but I think they can pull it off against Indiana.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
They're
I
just.
didn't see them losing. I mean, maybe.
It's possible.
I don't know.
Also, in other news, Ohio State and Penn State play in a few weeks here. If Ohio State takes care of Oregon this week, and then I believe in 2 weeks, Georgia and Texas play.
I
If
think
Georgia beats Texas and Penn State wins out, that would set up a Ohio State Penn State #1 versus #2.
Do you think Georgia will beat Texas?
I think it's
there's
possible.
a chance.
I
but
think
I think it's very possible, but I think Texas.
obviously a lot to happen.
Especially Georgia after losing to Bama.
Penn State plays USC this week. Could be a tough battle. Where's the game at? I mean, obviously we still have 2 weeks of football until then, so a lot can happen as we saw this week. But the game it's at Texas, so it's gonna be a hell of a game no matter what.
Oh yeah. And then the week after, or a few weeks after that Texas Georgia game, Texas plays Vanderbilt.
I'm gonna assume they win that game.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't think they'll make the same mistake as Bama.
Yeah. Let's get into some picks here. Don't look at my picks because that would be cheating. We don't like cheaters.
You just asked me that.
We don't like Michigan.
Oh wow.
Those damn cheaters.
All
Damn cheers.
right.
All right. This game on Thursday night, Coastal Carolina versus James Madison.
James Madison.
James Madison. Why? I want to hear the reasoning behind your picks, just because.
Because I know more about them as a team.
Really?
Like I've heard,
I mean, they've been good the last couple of years, so that's fine.
I haven't heard anything about Coastal Carolina ever. So.
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina's field, though, is a bright blue. It's pretty tough.
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't think
pulled
that
the
helps them
picture.
in any way.
Well, my notes are. That's cool.
I don't think that helps them in any way though.
No, it's actually being played at James Madison too. So, yeah, I got JMU. We got a big win. Of North Carolina 2 weeks
Weren't you
ago.
talking about them earlier?
I'm the head coach on my college football.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Currently,
why.
I think we're 6-2 right now.
Ah,
Not
pretty
bad. Yeah. Friday night. Wait, so are we all riding with JMU here?
Yeah.
Friday night, 16 Utah takes on Arizona State.
Unranked.
Unranked Arizona State. Utah are the Utes, by the way. Urban Meyer used to coach there. Shout out Urban Meyer. And Arizona State is the Tridents or something like that. Let me look up the Arizona State mascot. Arizona State mascot.
This is perfect.
It's the Devils.
Ah.
Arizona State Sun Devils or the Utah Utes.
I like the Utes.
Like the Utes.
Give me the Utes.
I'm based on actual smart Utah, but for the mascots, Arizona.
So who do you gotta make a pick?
I'll just say Arizona for fun.
Arizona State.
I'll give them, yeah.
Imagine she's right.
I like that pick. I'm picking
fun.
Arizona State. I like Arizona State in this game.
All right.
Playing good football. I think Utah's had their struggles. Going between Rising and who's their quarterback? Gab, not Gabbard.
What even is a Ute?
Utah quarterback. He's the brother of some. Why am I we're blanking? Utah quarterback. I feel like I'm ill prepared. Utah quarterback. I feel ill prepared for my podcast.
Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Isaac Wilson. I think Utah just has some struggles, and I like Arizona State to win at home to upset Arizona or to upset Utah. We have South Carolina traveling to number 7 Alabama. Of course, Bama coming off of that loss.
yeah.
Do they rebound at home?
I think they rebound. Oh, yeah. At home, yes.
Yes.
I would agree.
It-
I just think South Carolina's a good team. They got their quarterback back last week. Played decently against Ole Miss. Still lost the game. But I like Bama. But
yeah, no,
I watch this though. South Carolina could win this game.
anything can.
Clearly.
Just put that out there. But Bama is very hard to go into.
Yeah, I don't think Bama loses 2 games.
And not just that, but to have to losing to Vanderbilt, they're looking. I think they're going to be locked in the rest of the year.
Yep. Number 4, Penn State traveling to USC to take on the Trojans. The Nittany Lions versus the Trojans. Who do we like in this one?
Penn State.
I think Penn State.
I have Penn State as well. I think Penn State, like I said earlier, really good team. I like what Drew Aller's doing. Of course, they have a good running back duo with Singleton and I'm very ill prepared for my podcast this week. Granted, I should have done some more fucking research. What the frick's his name? I don't know. Sorry, there's been a lot going on this week, so I do apologize.
Especially this hurricane coming.
Right. While we're on the topic, of course, pray.
Pray for
Katron Allen, and Nick Singleton. I like that duo. Shout out Julian Fleming as well, former Ohio State transfer. No, pray for Tampa area, the whole state of Florida. Hurricane Milton's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to cut across the state down here in Boca. We're probably going to get a little bit of it. No class this week.
some outer bands.
Yeah,
Just some rain.
but it is about to hit our hometown very, very hard. So let's pray.
It's actually moving down.
I did hear that.
It's
I
moving
did.
south.
Did hear that. Which is really good for us down here. Just move a little south, and then we'll get like actual hurricanes come across. It's supposed to be.
It's kind of moving away from Tampa a little bit.
It's supposed to be. I think a hurricane. It's supposed to be a category 1 or 2 by the time it gets.
Well, it doesn't matter how low it goes. They're still going to get a
Oh,
ton
yeah.
of rain.
Yeah.
And,
Like, they're not getting like as bad as.
Yeah. I did hear though, by the time it comes across to the Atlantic side, it's still gonna be a category 1 or 2. So,
Yeah.
love that. Anyway, back on track here.
And then there's going to be another one that hits like directly us, like right after.
Apparently.
It's actually moving
It's-
away. Look, it's moving. It's gonna turn around. Anyway,
And back on top.
who cares? I care. What?
Yeah.
Love my family. Cal after the near upset over Miami, travel to take on 22 Pittsburgh this week.
Wait, what's it?
Cal is the Bears. Pittsburgh is the Cougars.
I don't really
Pittsburgh
know.
mascot. Yeah, Panthers.
I don't really know.
I think that could be an upset.
But Cal now.
Yeah.
Cal playing the football. I
I
like
think-
that. I like that pick.
I think to
Pitt,
go.
Pitt is
Did
undefeated.
they just play in Miami or did Miami travel?
Miami travel.
Either way,
I like that.
I think even though they lost to Miami, knowing that up until the fourth quarter they had an outstanding game.
Yeah.
And very easily could have held on to that win.
Well, again, Mendoza
I
played
think-
well.
I think-
The running game was good.
Yeah, I think they are going to go into this game confident, but because they lost, they won't be too overconfident.
So you think they end Pittsburgh's perfect season?
I think so.
I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
Arizona travels to BYU. Undefeated BYU. Arizona's supposed to be a lot better coming in. They have to have not played up to standards. Arizona, BYU. Who do we like? Arizona is the Wildcats. BYU is the Cougars, I believe.
I like Cougars.
Arizona, because
Because why?
What? Did she have Mormons?
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
let's do it. Yeah, I got BYU playing some damn good football this season.
Especially with Arizona
Mm-hmm.
having troubles.
Rivalry game this week. Florida at 8, Tennessee. I got Tennessee big. I got Tennessee big.
Yeah, I think the Gators, even though they just beat UCF,
If I think that was that big.
it
I
was
mean, UCF's not a bad
because
team.
UCF is not a bad
But they did
team.
get routed by Colorado.
Yeah.
So
But aside from that win, the Gators haven't done anything really this season to prove their worthiness of beating September.
yeah, I think if this game was in Gainesville, they don't have a shot. Especially Tennessee come off a loss. But I think the loss also avenges them to want to win, be better.
Are the Gators 3-2?
Like 2-3.
I think they're 2. Because I think
That'd be
they were
right.
2-2 and then they just won.
Florida football. 3-2.
Yeah. I think after this week they're 3-3. They stay at 500.
Yeah. 18 Kansas State versus Colorado.
Say that again.
18 Kansas State versus Colorado.
What's Colorado ranked? Are they not ranked?
Unranked Colorado. 4-1 though. Playing team.
Yeah.
Who was? They have I have Colorado at home.
I think Colorado wins this game.
Really. Lauren?
I said Colorado.
Nice. I like that.
I like what Travis Hunter's
Into some big games here now. Number 9, Ole Miss versus number 13, LSU. This game was a coin flip for me. I went back and forth on this game. So I want to hear your thoughts before I share mine.
I haven't really watched either of these two teams this year, but I've heard a lot about Ole Miss.
Jackson Dart, Heisman, one of the Heisman candidates.
Yeah.
Of course, took a loss this week, which hurt him a little bit, but
Are they playing at LSU though?
it is at LSU.
That is a very hard place to play at.
It is.
I feel like LSU. If they're playing.
LSU.
What are the rankings?
9 versus 13. Ole Miss is 9.
I think if I don't know. That's a hard game.
It is. It's a good
Because-
game. It's gonna be a hell of a game. I got Ole Miss. Both these teams played South Carolina. Ole Miss beat them by more than LSU. Now that was my deciding factor. I'm gonna be honest. But I think Jackson Dart plays really well. But I do like what Nussmeier is doing at LSU since that loss to USC early in the year. Two good teams, two playoff caliber teams. And the loser of this team, loser of this game, will have 2 losses, which will affect their college football playoff.
I do think if anyone's gonna go into LSU and win, it'll be Ole Miss. Just put that.
So are you driving with Ole Miss?
Let's ride with Ole Miss.
Your Rebels.
Oh, yeah.
Number 1 Texas versus number 18 Oklahoma. Red River rivalry live from I believe Dallas, Texas.
Texas.
Yeah,
So
hook 'em, hook 'em.
wasn't even a question.
And then the game of the week, College Game Day, headed to Eugene, Oregon, as the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, or as my boy Gus Johnson likes to say, the world famous Ohio State Buckeyes take on the number 3 Oregon Ducks, and what's going to be a hell of a game. Who do we like in this one?
No bias. Give me Ohio State. I really like what Jeremiah Smith is doing, and I think for Boise State to be able to hold their own with Oregon with Ashton Genty, I think that Ohio State is just gonna not dominate, but I think they're just gonna have to.
Oh, and you saw Genty run all over that team.
Yeah,
What do you think? What do you think my boy Quinshon Junkins is going to do to him? Shaving Henderson.
I think he's gonna do similar.
1-2
things.
punch. Henderson and Junkins.
I think he's gonna do similar things, but I think they're gonna have a better passing game in this game.
Lord. Ohio. I like that. Yeah. So Oregon, obviously, they're ranked number 3 for a reason.
Yeah.
A damn good football team. And for Oregon to win this game, they are going to have to, one, get Tez Johnson involved. I said that all season long. If he's involved in the passing game, they have a shot. But Ohio State, I think that's too many weapons that defense to stop. And Ohio State right now might have the best defense in the country. So if we can shut down Johnson We'll shut down Gabriel. We got to stop running. We have to stop the run game, though, because their runners can get out in space. So Ohio State has to stop the run. And then they should be okay. And I think Ohio State just has too many weapons on that offense. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got, I mentioned Judkins and Henderson as the 1-2 punch out of the backfield. You got Emeka Ibuka, Jeremiah Smith, at the running routes, Carnell Tate. I mean,
Yeah.
the weapons on this team are just insane. And I think it's too many for the Oregon defense to handle. So give me the Ohio State Buckeyes to beat Oregon in Eugene, Oregon on the red. All right. College football's done. We have NFL coming up next on the Big Dog Podcast.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
Back here for the NFL segment. But first, I'm going to give a shout out to one of our big sponsors, Bill and Grandma Wanda.
Oh,
Shout out to those.
Telling them. I'm
Yep.
telling them right now.
Yep.
Tell them no, don't tell them.
Tell
Just tell them to watch his podcast.
Tell them to tune in to the Big Dog Podcast.
and they'll hear the
Bill, Grandma Wanda, if you guys are watching, we love you and we miss you guys. But hide the knives, because
That's nice.
gotta hide them.
Grandma Wanda's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, don't say that.
In a good way. In a good way.
Good way.
She's gonna watch it.
I would, Grandma Wanda, if you watch this, you'll make my day.
We love you.
She's not gonna watch it.
I know. That was Bill. What about Bill? Maybe Bill might.
Probably not.
It's a shame.
Is Cooper gonna watch it?
I can get him to.
Yeah. Might have
He's
to.
not really a podcast guy, but I'm sure he's willing to
Might have to.
set aside an hour. I already told my cousin to watch it,
Oh, hell yeah.
so you got another.
That's not
You
really a
right
football
there.
guy. So like,
It's a shame.
Big P. Diddy guy.
Yeah.
don't say that.
I just did. It's
Don't
gonna
get the wrong vibe.
it's gonna
guys.
it's gonna go on YouTube, so
Don't get the wrong vibe.
it's all right. This might get a whole 9 views, so
Oh yeah.
should be okay.
Record breaking.
Yeah.
First one had like 22.
I think this one's gonna be the one that gets you the most because I might tell everybody to watch it
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
just because I'm in it.
Hell yeah. Go famous, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Lord, if you get us views, you might be a recurring guest.
Oh shit.
Well, I just heard.
Well, we can get you back on too.
Yeah.
Depends on who gets me more views.
Well,
Is this gonna be a contest? Because
It could.
no.
It could. No?
No.
They're kind of dating, so not to share guys' information on the public. But again,
Yeah.
all 9 people will watch this. And let's be honest, it says 9 views. No one watches it past like 10 minutes, so no one's watching this right now.
5 minutes.
Maybe you are, and if you are, shout out to you. We love you. All right, let's talk about the football because that's what we're
10 minutes.
all here for.
Wow.
My
Let's
phone
talk
is
about
blowing
some NFL
up.
football.
Oh, we're here.
Talk about some
So
NFL football.
breaking news came out today, yesterday when you're watching this. We film on Tuesday, post on Wednesday. Time we do it on the Big Dog Podcast. Robert Saleh fired after a
Yes.
2-3 start.
This shocked me.
Yeah, I was a little surprised myself.
He woke up this morning. He goes, "I need to call Nick right now."
Yeah, he
Yeah.
called me from
I
the
called
other
him
room.
from my bedroom. I
Um,
didn't feel like getting out of bed.
2-3 start this season, 20-36 since 2021. Head coach of the Jazz. What are your thoughts? Was it the right move?
In my opinion, I liked Robert as a head coach. Obviously, he hasn't gotten the job done, and if he was going to get the job done, it would have been this year with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. And
Yeah.
just he has a bunch of star players on that team to get the job done. But I just feel like players aren't connecting. Like Aaron Rodgers, he just looks very inaccurate, just in the pocket. He's very immobile.
I actually have Roger's stats right here.
He's mobile in the pocket, but outside of it,
Well, yeah, well, I know there's never been a mobile guy. No, he's not going to be like
And
Lamar
he's like-
Jackson or
and
Cam
he's-
Newton out there.
and he's 40 years old.
Right. 1,096 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That 7-4 ratio is either the worst or second worst in the NFL.
Yeah, especially coming from Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the most accurate quarterbacks
Historically, yeah.
historically. Yeah, he's very accurate.
So defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich to be interim head coach. Rest of the season, but no, I don't think Saleh was necessarily the problem.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers is the problem. think he's just
I think he's just old.
I think he's just old, and I think he thinks he's he's like the coach almost. Like
Yeah,
he's
I
been
can
in
see
the
that.
league he's been in the league longer, and he's produced, he's done really good up until this point. And so I think that he's coming in with this, I don't want to say confidence,
Yeah.
but like he thinks he knows more than these coaches. And so it's kind of showing that I don't know how to say
No, I get
that.
you're saying that. Like, he thinks
Yeah,
he's better than the
he
coaches.
thinks he's better, but
I don't think that. I
yeah,
just think that people's expectations, including me, I was high on them this comes in the season. I said they can compete with the Dolphins in that division. Obviously, both teams not playing well.
yeah,
Um, but because you look at this, you look at when Tom Brady went to Tampa after all these Patriots, instantly won a Super Bowl.
yeah.
Matthew Stafford comes over from the Lions, goes instantly wins Super Bowl. Peyton Manning comes over to Denver from Indianapolis years back,
Super Bowl.
wins Super Bowl. Joe Montana leaves the Niners, goes to the Chiefs. Led to an AFC Championship, made the playoffs
Yeah.
in both years, and so I think they were waiting for this like instant success.
It's not coming.
Right. You can't take a team that has been awful for years, add one player, and expect it to make a big difference. Um,
But they haven't just added one player; they've added a ton of players.
but every player that they've added, Aaron Rodgers wanted. Rodgers wanted them to go out and get Mike Williams.
Mm.
And he wanted them to bring in Nathaniel Hackett as well with the offensive coordinator, which I think was a mistake in the first place. Not a Nathaniel Hackett fan. And I'm not saying this because obviously Brady had some say in who they brought into
Yes,
to New England for those years and
but he also got
Tampa.
the job done.
Right. So it's a
And
fine line
I think,
to who you give that kind of power to
Uh-huh.
as a player.
and I think Tom Brady also listened to the coaches. Like I think Aaron Rodgers was trying to take too much power into his hands instead of listening
Yeah.
to his coaches. Whereas Tom Brady, when coming to the Bucks, he listened to the coaches, but like once he was on the field, if he saw or noticed something, he would make an audible or something to change like
Tom Brady,
small things. He would
obviously,
just take control of the whole game.
not on the same level as anyone else because
Yeah,
he's in a
obviously.
league of his own.
Yes.
Um,
Now commentating on
big Tampa Bay guy, big Tom Brady guy. Honored to watch him play in my hometown and watch him play in
it
person.
it was really special to watch him take the Bucks to the Super Bowl and win on my birthday. That was insane.
Yeah, brother.
It was a fun birthday.
Good day. I remember I was watching that. I think I wore my Tom Brady jersey.
31-9. They beat the Chiefs.
Now Chiefs, all the Chiefs do win now.
Yeah, that's all they do.
Drake May, moving on. Drake May to start for the Patriots versus Texans. His first start of his career. Patriots are 1-4, have lost 4 straight since beating the Bengals in Week 1. Jacoby Brissett, 696 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception in 5 starts. That is bad.
Yeah.
Very bad. Very no bueno. What are your guys' thoughts?
On
Jacoby
Brissett,
Brissett, Drake May, the rookie coming in. Actually, I kind of want to hear Lauren's thoughts on this.
Let's hear it.
So the bench Brissett, veteran guy, been around the league for a few years. For Drake May, who's a rookie out of North Carolina.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yep.
Is this a good move?
No,
And why not?
as I said so.
Okay.
That's all.
I think,
I don't really know what to say about that.
in
I don't know anything about it, so.
my opinion, I think it's
I think it's
the right move.
I don't know about a good move. It's the right move.
Yeah, I think Gerard Mayo made a mistake in the beginning of the season not starting Drake May. I understand.
I think that was a good move. Actually, not starting Drake May or Joe Milton.
Joe Milton actually, I think, is
In my opinion,
he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. I think he can be better than Drake May.
I think he has potential. I think that you should go on those guys to start the year. I mean, we've seen what Brissett can do. We've seen him, be a bridge guy for a lot of teams. But you don't know what Drake May could do. And to be honest, we knew this year coming in for the Patriots was going to be bad. It's going to be a rebuild year. And so I think that you put the rookie out there. I get letting him sit behind a guy who's had some success. been in the
Kinda
league
just
for some
learn.
years.
That's what the NFL needs to do more. The Packers have done that. They did that with Favre and Rodgers. Rodgers sat behind Favre, and he's a great quarterback. And then Love, after Rodgers, he sat behind him for a year or two. He's a good quarterback now. There's another team that did that.
And maybe that's an approach that they're trying to take now. With
I think it's the best thing to do is to have a veteran QB start
the rookie backing them
with a
up.
rookie backup.
But what do you think about then teams that
Kind of just learn.
like you take a top 10 pick then with Jake May and you have him sit the bench? I feel like if you're a top 10 pick, I feel like you're taking guys that you want to play immediately or start immediately.
Or you just want them on your team for a future.
Yeah.
Because they took 2 rookie QBs that year. They took Drake May and Joe Wilson.
I like Joe Milton. He looked good in the preseason, what we saw.
His can.
Does. I don't know. I just think the Patriots they're not gonna win either way.
They're not gonna
They're not gonna
make the
compete.
playoffs or anything. But
Bills are a runaway favorite.
I think it's a good idea to see what Drake May can do right now.
Yeah.
And I think with him sitting behind a veteran for at least a couple weeks, he kind of has an idea of what he's getting himself into, and he'll have the best chance of performing well.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see.
Russell Wilson back to practice this week. We talked about this on a couple weeks on the podcast with the Wilson and Fields debate. Is Wilson actually hurt? Was Fields playing all along? Who really knows? Fields this season 961 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 reception, and then rushing 172 yards and 3 more touchdowns. So 8 touchdowns accounted for Russell Fields this season. And they're 3-2. They lost to the Cowboys and who did they lose to last week? Both back-to-back games. Colts. In a game which Justin Fields threw for over 300 yards. So you can't blame the loss on Fields. I also blame the defense a little bit for the loss versus Dallas this week.
I like what Justin Fields is doing.
I agree.
I like how he came from a losing Bears team, maybe little to no confidence after that, and to come in with Russell Wilson getting hurt, having the starting job, and kind of just shining in that.
So, do you think that do you think the Steelers should stick with Fields going forward, or make switch to Wilson?
I think what I would do if I was the Steelers is I would keep Fields starting, and if Fields maybe loses this week or the next week, then maybe consider having Russell Wilson starting and seeing what Russell can do.
But what does that do to his confidence? Because Russell Wilson's on a 1-year contract.
Oh,
he's also 30. He's also 35. His prime is clearly past. With Seattle, and Fields having one of the better years of his career. I mean, yes. He does have a problem with fumbles, the most since 2021 for a quarterback.
He also runs a lot, though.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen has a problem with fumbles, too.
Yeah.
Same thing. He runs a lot. So, I think you go with Fields. I think Fields is the younger option, the more athletic option. He fits today's game better than Wilson does. Russell Wilson 10 years ago was a good running quarterback. But now you got guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes who are doing these incredible things and incredible freak athletes. Yeah. And I just don't think Russell Wilson's up to par with that anymore. And not to say that Russell Wilson, or not to say Justin Fields is as good as Josh Allen.
In the pocket quarterback.
At this point in his career, I think he is.
And very accurate quarterback.
Mike Tomlin has been known to take these teams who are not, the most talented on paper and get them in the playoffs. I mean, the Steelers are consistently in contention and consistently in the playoffs.
They have not had a losing season.
Yeah.
In 18 years under Mike Tomlin. I
mean, that is we can clap it for that. I mean, that is insane. That is unheard of. Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches of all time, for sure.
Mike Tomlin's main focus is on the defense, and that is shown week in, week out, especially with TJ Watt, who just reached 100 career sacks.
Yeah, he's pretty good at football.
Yeah.
Currently watching the Mets absolutely pound the Phillies.
Yeah. Um,
I think Fields going forward is the
I
option.
think I would stick with Fields.
Yeah. Is it time to panic for the San Francisco 49ers? McCaffrey's hurt, Samuel's hurt. They're 2-3. They lost the Cardinals. And the next four do not get any better. At Seattle, versus Kansas City, versus Dallas, and at Tampa Bay. Four tough games.
Yeah.
Four tough teams. Are you panicking about the 49ers?
I would. But
Okay.
what's your Lord?
I would be. I'd be very scared.
What, if you were 2-3?
Yeah, and all your players are hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're that, you're already sucking.
Yeah. I saw somewhere recently, I think on Instagram, that McCaffrey is going to be coming back in the next few weeks.
Okay.
His calf injury and his tendonitis did not flare up in recent practices, and so
And now he went to like Germany or something to get treatment for it.
I don't know that
That's
much,
who they're playing.
but I wouldn't. They have a very, very good defense, and they have enough weapons on offense to get the job done. I wouldn't. I would be. I would start getting worried when they can't get the job done with what they have. I mean, given they just lost to Cardinals, it was a close game though.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't start panicking.
Yeah. I mean, in that division, I mean, what you got Seattle. That's really the one team that's gonna really. I mean, maybe the Cardinals in a division where it's a little tight, but there's not really a runaway team yet in that division. I think that a team like the Niners, maybe halfway through the year, can get healthy and get hot at the right time. Brock Purdy got to be a little better. Didn't play great this past week.
But he's shown that he can.
Yeah, we've seen the past, 2 years, whatever, that he is a good quarterback.
Oh yeah.
And now it does. I will say, it probably does help when you have George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey all around you, making you look good. But
he's shown
I
that
think
without those weapons, he can still perform.
can he though? Because we're looking at it without his best two.
What did we see with Juwan Jennings the other week?
Juwan Jennings is a baller.
He had an insane game.
Yeah.
I don't think they won that game, but that against the Rams.
Yeah.
Ended up losing, but
I don't know. I think here's what they got to do. They got to find a way to win two of those next four games versus Seattle, Kansas City, Dallas, Tampa Bay.
I would like to see Tampa Bay do the Niners.
I think the two most winnable games in that are Seattle and Dallas. And saying that, and those are two tough teams. I mean, Seattle, we're talking about good team, although they did lose to the Giants. Not coming up in a minute. But Geno Smith playing really well. DK Metcalf, of course, Kenneth Walker. Kansas City, I mean, they're probably losing that game, for being honest. And then at Tampa Bay proved that they are a legit contender this year. Good team. Of course, they lost to the Falcons in unbelievable fashion. Buccaneers should have won that game.
They should have.
Penalties at the end.
They had a
Teeth
lot
at the
of
breakdown, safety, secondary, banged up, whatever. So I think for the 49ers, you got to find a way to win two of those games, no matter whether they're versus Tampa and Seattle, Kansas City, Dallas, whoever.
They have to find a way to win.
Because then that puts them then at 4-5. Then maybe after that, if you can get healthy, and get hot for the playoffs, you might be able to sneak in there in the NFC. Let's go talk about the Giants and the Seahawks really quick.
Okay.
And we'll go up. So the Giants beat the Seahawks. No Devin Singletary, no Malik Neighbors, who I would say those probably their two biggest weapons on offense. Daniel Jones, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyrone Tracy stepped up on the running game, 18 carries, 129 yards. Darius Slayton, 122 yards and a touchdown through the air. I mean, they looked the best offenses looked without their two best weapons this week. Versus a team that in Seattle who was undefeated coming in. I think they were 3-0 at one point. Now they're 3-2. What impressed you about the Giants?
The win.
Yeah.
The win impressed me. I thought going into Seattle would take care of business, but I think kind of similar to Alabama, which we talked about earlier, maybe Seattle, knowing that their two best offensive weapons were out, they kind of went in a little too overconfident. And then
I would,
the Giants have showed that their defense is capable of hanging in with decent offenses.
yeah, but you wouldn't think a team goes into an NFL game overconfident. I mean, these guys are professionals playing at the highest level of their
It
sport.
happens all the time at the highest level too.
No,
Upsets
shout out
all
to the
the way.
Giants though. Although I do need Malik Neighbors to come back because he is on my fantasy team, so that would be nice if he can come back.
He was having a great season.
I think he might miss this week max and he'll be back.
Yeah,
It's a mild concussion. Yeah, I know. Arguably one of been the best receiver in the league this year. Top three receiver in the league.
he was in the race for offensive rookie of the year.
It's him, Marvin, and Daniels. Which I think probably the runaway
In
favorite
my
right now.
opinion, I think
Yeah, I mean, I think he has the best completion percentage of all time through
yeah, at like
4
80,
or 5 games, whatever it was.
is it still in
Like
the
81,
80s?
82, yeah, insane. I know. Shout out to the Giants though. Just want to mention them. Got a big win. Um, we'll see if Daniel Jones can keep that up with Neighbors and Slayton. I mean, because here's the thing: if they can have two receivers they can go to, if they can have Neighbors and Slayton to go to. This gives him another option. Daniel Jones gives him another option.
If he can
Yeah.
produce with both receivers, then
Although I'm okay if Neighbors carries too, because fantasy team.
yes.
But if I was a Giants fan, I would want their Slayton to keep playing like this and see if he can. I'll see if he can continue that next week. Are the Commanders a legit team? Are they going to win the NFC East over the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Giants? But the Giants are not winning.
Giants will not win. They showed that they can win.
I don't know if the Eagles will win. I think it's them and Dallas. The next three for the Commanders, they're 4-1. Next three for the Commanders are at Ravens versus Panthers versus Bears. Panthers and Bears should be a win.
Yeah,
That Ravens game is going to be a tough
Ravens game is
game.
going to be a tough game.
Should be a good game
It should. Oh yeah, is that next week or this week?
this week. Coming up.
Oh, isn't that Monday night?
No, Monday is
Or no, no, no.
Bills and Jets. It's just a Sunday game. Jane Daniels, 1,135 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and another 300 yards and 4 touchdowns all the ground.
Insane.
Ryan Brown was a junior too. Surprise team, or surprising me. 25 yards, 5 touchdowns. Also involved in the receiving game a little bit.
Oh,
And we're gonna combine two segments here. Commanders, one of our surprise teams this week.
oh yeah,
Just in general, not the whole season, 4-1. I don't think anybody saw that for Dan Quinn and company.
yeah. Especially with the rookie QB Jane Davis.
Yeah.
I think he really stepped up.
Yeah, 100%. He's playing well. I mentioned last week, Devontae Adams obviously now in the trade market.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders could be a good fit.
Could be just another weapon for Jane.
You give Jane Daniels, Devontae Adams, and then add him with Scary Terry. It's already there.
Oh yeah,
That could be a 1-2 punch
could be.
for the Commanders. So
Especially with Devontae Adams being more of a deep threat guy.
different kind of receiver. Run McLaren on the slot. McLaren though can run the deep route too.
He
I mean,
can.
very good receiver. Very
shown-
underrated.
He's shown his ability to track the ball.
Yeah. I think he just gets outlooked because he's playing for the Commanders, who are not
So
not the Cowboys, not the Eagles, not
he's one of the top
a big
receivers
market
in the
team.
league. Really good hands, really good.
Very underrated. So, do you think the Commanders win the NFC East? Can they sustain what's happened?
I wouldn't put them up winning the NFC East. I definitely,
Playoff team?
I think they could be a sneaky playoff team in the division.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I think
win divisional round.
I don't know if what they're doing now is sustainable, but granted, those next three, if they lose to the Ravens, beat Panthers and Bears, that puts them at 6-2.
It's scary.
You know what? I think they win the division. Cowboys look inconsistent at times. Offense has struggled. Defense is banged up now. I think the Commanders win the division.
I think,
but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think in the playoffs will
Yeah.
kind of fizzle out.
I think the Eagles will get their receivers back and bounce back in a big way.
I hope. So I want this with all my teams. So
I think that the Eagles get their players back and they end up winning the division.
Eagles, really?
Yeah.
I like that.
The Cowboys.
Lauren, you have anything to add? You know what I'm talking about with
I
him?
think they
Really?
The Cowboys are banged up on defense and they're just inconsistent. And they've shown that they can win in big games in the regular season. But I don't think they beat out the Eagles. A healthy Eagles team at least.
The other surprise team, Minnesota Vikings, 5
Yes.
and 0. Last undefeated, or no, it's 2 remaining undefeated teams.
Chiefs.
Them and the
are
Chiefs.
But I don't think the Chiefs will remain undefeated for long with their banged up team.
Be effective. It's good to see for the Chiefs, Travis Kelce get more ball last night versus the Saints. Of course, the Saints, Derek Carr goes down out a few weeks, so he will not play versus the Buccaneers
That's
on
good for the
Saturday.
Bucks.
It should be, I believe,
It's another 1 o'clock game.
Jake Hayner or Spencer Rattler, rookie.
I feel confident with the Bucks there.
Yeah.
No bias, obviously, as a Bucks fan.
Shout out to the Vikings.
But
Shout
with
out,
Derek Carr going down, I
Yeah.
think we have a really good chance.
shout out to Dylan. Dylan Big. You know, Dylan usually on the Big Dog Pod out this week. Big Vikings guy. And then disappointing teams for me, I have the Jets and the Bengals.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, the Bengals played well. Burrow played really well.
That-
Marshall played
Burrow-
really well.
Burrow's playing really well.
But their defense was not great. And then, of course, in the fourth quarter of that game, Daxton Hill goes down and is out for season with an ACL injury. So they're now going to be even worse on defense.
That the defense is the reason that they're losing these games. Because Burrow is like playing like a top tier QB right now. And I think right now the Bengals are showing that wins are not a QB stat. Because Joe
Yeah.
Burrow,
Well, but here's the
looking
thing.
at his
Unfortunately,
individual-
though, with every team, the first person thing about is the quarterback, and the first person to blame is the quarterback.
the
But I don't
quarterback
believe, I don't believe that's the case here for the Bengals.
Joe Burrow has shown that he played almost the perfect game. Obviously, with that that interception late in the game.
Yeah.
But other than that interception, he played almost the perfect game. And
Well, then McPherson had the opportunity to make the field goal to win it, and then
the holder dropped the ball.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
wasn't
the-
all on McPherson.
no, and as a whole, the kickoff, the
Yeah.
field goal team not great. But we talked with Jets earlier, firing Salah.
It looks like they're losing. They're finding ways to lose these
Yeah.
games.
Could we see Zach Taylor be fired?
No.
Could he be the next man out the door?
Maybe. I think if anyone's going to be fired, it's going to be the Panthers head coach. Whoever that
Dave
is.
Canales?
I mean, I like what he's done.
I think you
With,
give him another year.
Maybe with Bryce Young being benched and
Yeah.
Andy Dalton coming and stepping up, they've showed that they can win.
Yeah,
games.
Dalton not as sharp as he was when he first came, but still playing better than Bryce Young. So Bryce Young actually played a little bit last week. Yeah, at the end of the game they were down by a lot, so they put him in, but
How do you look?
not good.
Same old.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, Lauren, anything to add? We can make some picks.
I like these picks.
I like Lauren's picks. Always entertaining. I like the reasoning behind
Oh,
them. All right, Thursday night football: 49ers versus Seahawks. I have the Seahawks as well.
Got the Niners.
All right, I like
The
that.
Niners.
I like
I
that.
think that even though the Seahawks offense is rolling,
Yeah.
I think the Niners have
Even
a
though they're hurt.
the Niners offense is good.
Yeah.
So I think with a healthy defense, a very good healthy defense, I think they can shut down weapons. If they can't, and DK just runs all over them, then they'll have a problem. But
Agreed.
I think DK still can have a decent game, but
Yeah.
I think the Niners shut down that offense, and it comes down to the Niners offense to see what they can produce with what they have.
Don't need Jennings to do it. Sunday morning in London, Jags and Bears. I like Chicago.
I don't-
Jags got their first win of the year, but I just think
It
they're
just it,
two bad teams. Let's not. Sorry, Miles. Bears bad team. Jags even worse team.
I
Give
think-
me the Bears.
Last week the Bears looked pretty good actually,
They did. They look good versus the Panthers.
given it is against the Panthers, but they look like
But Panthers have been playing better football as of
Yeah.
late. So,
They just look
Lauren.
like they had complete control of that game.
go Bears.
No Bears.
Clean sweep on the Bears.
Yeah.
Miles would love that.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you're listening. Cardinals, Packers.
I like the Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah.
Cardinals as well? Really?
I like coming
All
off
right.
this win against the Niners, one of the top teams in the NFC. I like them coming into Lambeau.
Yeah, I got the Packers. Lambeau, tough with play. Fans are always involved. I like Jordan Love is back. I think he gets rolling with the Packers. Colts, Titans.
2.
I got the Colts. I don't care who's playing quarterback, whether it's AR-15 or Joe
Yeah.
Flacco.
Champion Joe Flacco.
Hopefully it's Joe Flacco. Yeah,
Maybe
big fan
Joe
of him.
Flacco.
He did hit on a pick on Underdog Fantasy, Nick 236. Probably didn't hit though, but yeah.
But the Titans just
Shout out to
aren't looking
Yeah,
good.
Titans are really bad.
The
So
only team they've beaten
You got-
recently is the Dolphins. The Dolphins.
hopefully Joe Flacco plays.
You know what I saw on Instagram earlier, Nick?
What?
This season, the Dolphins as a total have scored 33 points.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Brandon Aubrey, the kicker for Dallas,
I saw that earlier too.
43.
Yeah, that's pretty
He
funny.
has scored 10 more points.
Shout out Daryl Falk. We love you, Daryl, but your team is booty cheese.
Yes.
Uh,
Without Tua, they suck.
Texans Patriots. Drake May debut. Does he get the win?
Who are they playing?
Texans. I say no.
No, I think he can perform well, but it won't be enough. I
Lauren,
think
Texans are saying or Texans or Patriots. Did you feel?
I kind of want to say Patriots.
Do it.
I don't know why. I just feel like
I mean, Tom Brady played for him. It's good
Yeah.
reason.
a good
All
recap.
right, I like that. Patriots.
All
I
right.
like it, Lauren. You just got a feeling Drake may get it done?
I think the Texans coming off a win against the Bills, they're going to be hot and
And they have CJ Stroud. So.
exactly.
Oh, wait.
OH. I think they get it done. Do we know if can't think of his name? The receiver that won for the Texans.
Nico Collins?
Yeah. Do we know if he's going to be out this week?
I'm not sure. I don't think Niners, to be honest with you.
They have enough weapons, but obviously he's their number one top receiver.
Diggs, the only Diggs in everyone.
I think Nico Collins has
Both
Dogs.
absolute fucking dogs.
Yeah.
Bucks and Saints. No Derek
No,
Carr, but
with-
Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler for the Saints.
I think without Derek Carr, I think they'll play harder, but I think without that, their quarterback, Bucks defense will just overwhelm this new quarterback.
Lauren?
Bucks.
Bucks. Yeah, so for me, it was kind of a toss up. Obviously, I'm a Bucks fan, but I keep it real with you guys on the Big Dog Podcast. The Bucks struggle to win in New Orleans historically. It's been very bad these past couple of years. I've been a Bucks fan since 2019. So before that, I can't speak a ton. But from recent, they have struggled to win in New Orleans. Whether that was that's such struggle. No matter that was with Jameis Winston, Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield. Always a tough game with the Saints, but I think no Derek Carr really solidifies the Bucks win.
I think
that's unfortunately. I think the difference maker comes down to an injury. Never like that to happen, but it just
I
happened.
think the Bucks defense has been solid, even without some weapons on their defense. I think the line,
Bucks defense did get absolutely shredded.
but I think without Derek Carr, this backup QB gets overwhelmed by the D line. Maybe throws a few interceptions. We get the ball.
I'm hoping for it.
And I think the Bucks capitalized on those mistakes from the backup QB.
Yeah. Browns versus the Eagles. I got the Eagles by a lot.
Yeah, I got the Eagles. The Browns.
So,
yeah.
Lauren,
Who?
Browns, the Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, good pick.
Do
Browns.
the Eagles have their receivers back or any of them?
Sorry, it's not me.
I don't think it matters, to be honest. I think Devonta Smith will. I'm not sure what age. Commanders, Ravens.
Ooh, that's gonna be a
Maybe
good
game of the week. I got the Ravens at home. I think Lamar
Yeah.
gets it done.
in Baltimore. I think Jaden Daniels will put on a show like
Especially
he always does. But
After that performance in Cincinnati.
I think being able to come back in OT.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Commanders defense has enough weapons to stop Derrick Henry in the run game.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is is a dog.
Absolute dog.
Absolute unit.
Absolute dog.
Chargers, Broncos. I like the Broncos. They've been playing a lot. The defense has been looked really good.
Really good.
I think they hold Herbert and company, and they get the win at home.
I do like the Broncos. Yeah, I think that'll be a good upset.
I just felt like
I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, it'll be more of a defensive game.
Steelers versus the Raiders. I got
Give me Steelers.
I got the Steelers. I think there's too many distractions for the Raiders right now. Supposedly Max Crosby wants out now too with Devontae, so a lot of distractions. Give me the Steelers. Lions, Cowboys.
Lions.
I got the Lions as well.
Give me the Lions. Give me the Lions.
Falcons, Panthers. We'll go with
Falcons. Yeah.
Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
They just absolutely shredded the Bucs defense. The Panthers already kind of sucking.
Yeah.
And the Falcons have a good defense, so.
With Jesse Bates called the fumble the other day. Absolutely dog. Sunday Night Football, Bengals, Giants. I think the Bengals get the win.
The Bengals pull off the win.
It's going to come under the defense, though. Yeah. Lauren?
don't look at me like that.
Lauren, you can pick whoever you want. I like it. Bills, Jets. I'm going with the Bills. They just fired their coach, the Jets did. And so
they're kind of be shit more than they already were.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all the football talk we have.
That Monday Night Football game is going to be just the Bills showing off what they can do, pretty much.
Yeah, they might win by quite a few.
Quite a few.
So that is going to do it for the Big Dog Podcast. Again, Jake and Lauren, thank you guys for doing this today.
Of course.
We'd love to have you guys back on. Of course, man. Of course. Chris and Dylan should be back next week as long as everything goes well with the hurricane. Again, we pray for everybody involved in the state of Florida, especially in our hometown, friends and family.
Yeah.
Hope everybody stays safe because what's important? People stay safe. Things are replaceable. People are not. So make sure you stay safe. Not that anyone's gonna watch the end of this, but if you do, comment down below. I love the Big Dog Podcast.
I love the Big Dog Podcast.
Thank you, Lauren. Week 6, we'll cover a very exciting slate of college football. And you never know what can happen. Hence the end of what upset. Hence the Giants beating the Seahawks. Football is unpredictable.
I mean, sometimes it is.
Sometimes. All right. See you guys next week. Thanks for watching. And OH.
I know.
Thanks, Lauren.
You're welcome.